Prioritizing yourself, the first step toward emotional healing. Hey, my dear friend, grab a cup of coffee or tea, sit comfortably, and let's have a real talk. Because today, we're diving into something that most women struggle with, prioritizing ourselves. How many times have you put yourself last? How many times have you ignored your needs, silenced your emotions, or sacrificed your well-being to make someone else comfortable? Be honest, we've all been there. Society has trained us to believe that a good woman is selfless, giving, accommodating. But let's be brutally honest. Where has that gotten us? Exhausted? Resentful? Feeling unseen? Carl Jung, the brilliant Swiss psychiatrist, once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But how can we become who we truly are if we're constantly bending, shrinking, and suppressing ourselves to fit expectations that aren't even ours? Self-prioritization is not selfishness. Let's get one thing straight. Prioritizing yourself is not selfish. It's necessary. Society has twisted this idea, making women believe that if we take care of ourselves first, we're somehow betraying our roles as daughters, mothers, partners, or friends. But here's the raw truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you're stuck, drained, exhausted, and running on fumes, you are not truly showing up for anyone, not even yourself. Your energy, your peace, your time, they are sacred. But if you don't protect them, the world will devour them without a second thought. Jung teaches us that healing starts from within. The journey of healing begins the moment we turn inward and stop seeking validation from the outside world. Think about it. How many of your emotional wounds exist because you were waiting for someone else to give you love, approval, or permission to be yourself? How many times have you sacrificed your own needs for the sake of being liked or accepted? How many times have you abandoned yourself just to belong? Enough of that. Why prioritizing yourself is essential for emotional healing. The wounds we carry often come from childhood, past relationships, or societal conditioning. And here's the thing. They won't heal as long as we keep abandoning ourselves. The moment you start choosing yourself, really choosing yourself, something incredible happens. The wrong people start leaving. The right people start respecting you. Your peace becomes non-negotiable. Your energy stops being wasted on things that don't serve you. And yet, the moment you start setting boundaries and saying no, some people will call you cold or distant. Let them. Let them misunderstand you. Let them be uncomfortable. Let them think whatever they want. Because their opinions do not pay your bills. Their opinions do not nurture your soul. Their opinions do not define you. This is your life. You are the main character. And your healing journey begins the second you stop explaining yourself and start living unapologetically. This is your reminder to prioritize yourself. So here's what I want you to do. Take a deep breath. Right now, inhale deeply and exhale. Now ask yourself, when was the last time I truly prioritized my own well-being? What is one thing I can do today that honors me? What am I no longer willing to tolerate? Drop your answers in the comments, because I want to hear your thoughts. Let's build a community of women who refuse to settle for anything less than what we deserve. And if this message is hitting home for you, make sure you subscribe, hit like, and share this with another woman who needs to hear it. These messages are meant to be your daily audio companion, something to remind you every morning that your worth is not up for debate. The shadow and what we repress, facing the hidden self. Now that we've established why prioritizing yourself is crucial, we need to talk about the hidden parts of you that sabotage your happiness. Yes, I'm talking about your shadow. Carl Jung introduced the concept of the shadow self, the parts of us that we repress, deny, or are too afraid to face. And let me tell you, Ignoring your shadow does not make it disappear. It only makes it stronger. Think about the patterns in your life. The relationships that drain you, the situations that repeat, the moments where you feel stuck. Have you ever asked yourself, why does this keep happening to me? Jung gives us the answer. Everything that we deny in ourselves will eventually come to us as fate. In other words, what we refuse to face within ourselves manifests in our external reality. Your shadow is running the show until you face it. Let's get real. If you constantly attract toxic relationships, people who take more than they give, or situations that make you feel unworthy, it's not because you're unlucky. It's because something within you is allowing it. That's a tough pill to swallow, I know. But hear me out. If you grew up believing that love must be earned, you'll keep choosing people who make you prove your worth. If you were taught to stay quiet to keep the peace, you'll keep suppressing your truth, even when it hurts you. If you believe you're not enough, you'll unconsciously tolerate people who treat you that way, and the cycle repeats until you break it. Bringing light to the darkness, Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So how do we break free? By facing our shadow. That means looking at the painful experiences that shaped us, acknowledging the emotions we've been avoiding, questioning the beliefs that no longer serve us. Let's be clear, this is not easy work. It takes courage to sit with your own pain, to admit the role you've played in your own suffering. But here's the empowering part. Once you become aware of your shadow, it loses its power over you. Suddenly, you stop attracting relationships that drain you, seeking validation from people who don't deserve you, making excuses for why you can't prioritize yourself. Instead, you start seeing patterns for what they are: lessons. And once you learn the lesson, you no longer have to repeat the experience. Are you ready to face your shadow? I know this is a lot to take in, but ask yourself, what emotions or experiences have I been avoiding? What patterns keep showing up in my life? What belief about myself do I need to let go of? Drop your reflections in the comments. I want to hear from you. Your voice matters. And if this message is resonating, hit like, subscribe, and share this with a woman who needs to hear it. Remember, these messages are meant to be your daily guide, a voice in your ear reminding you that your healing is in your hands. Individuation, becoming who you were meant to be. Individuation is the journey of becoming your true self, not the version of you that society shaped, not the person others expect you to be, but the woman you were always meant to be. And let me tell you, this is where most women get stuck, because becoming yourself means unbecoming everything that isn't truly you. It means shedding the roles, the expectations, the conditioning. It means saying, this is who I am, whether you like it or not. And let's be honest, that terrifies people. Jung put it perfectly. The greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of the parents. Think about that for a second. How much of your life has been shaped by what your family, culture, or society expected of you? How many dreams did you bury because they didn't fit into someone else's vision for you? How often have you played small to avoid making others uncomfortable? Let's be real. Women are taught to be everything but themselves. We're taught to be good daughters, good wives, good mothers, good friends. But where in that list does it say we should be good to ourselves? The cost of not becoming yourself. Here's what happens when you don't go through individuation. You keep living for others instead of yourself. You stay stuck in relationships that don't align with you. You feel a constant sense of restlessness, like something is missing. Why? Because something is missing. Jung teaches us. Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens. And this is Exactly why most people never awaken. Because looking inside is terrifying. It means taking responsibility. It means accepting that you are the creator of your own life. And let's be honest, sometimes it's easier to blame others, right? Breaking free from external influence. Individuation is about cutting the invisible, strings that have controlled you for years. That means letting go of the need for approval. What others think of you is none of your business. Learning to say no without guilt. Boundaries are self-respect in action. Trusting your own judgment. No one knows you better than you. But here's the tricky part. Once you start individuating, people won't like it. Some will say, "You've changed. You're not the same person anymore. Why are you being so difficult?" And you know what? They're right. You have changed. Because you're no longer willing to betray yourself for their comfort. The courage to be unapologetically. Jung tells us, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. So ask yourself, what parts of myself have I been suppressing? Where have I been living for others instead of myself? Am I ready to embrace my true identity, even if it means losing people? Drop your thoughts in the comments because I know this hits deep. And if this message is speaking to you, hit like, subscribe, and share this with another woman who needs to hear it. These messages are here to remind you, every morning, every moment, that your authenticity is your superpower. Letting go of what hurts. The art of releasing to heal. Now that we've talked about individuation, becoming your truest self, it's time to address something that often makes this journey so painful. Letting go. Because let's be honest, my friend, not everyone is meant to come with you. When you start prioritizing yourself, setting boundaries, and stepping into your power, something unexpected happens. You start losing people. Jung put it best. You are not what happened to you. You are what you choose to become. And what you choose to become might not fit into the version of you that some people prefer. At first, this feels like a loss. You might find yourself asking, why does it feel like I'm ending up alone? Why do the people I was once close to feel so distant now? Am I doing something wrong? But hear me loud and clear. You are not losing people. You are losing the version of yourself that tolerated what no longer serves you. You can't heal in the same place that hurt you. If you keep surrounding yourself with people who make you doubt your worth, who drain your energy, who only love you when you're convenient for them, how do you expect to grow? Jung said, "We cannot change anything until we accept it. Condemnation does not liberate, it oppresses." Let that sink in. Healing is not about blaming others. It's about accepting that some things and some people are not meant for you anymore. Does this mean you should walk away from every difficult relationship? No, but it does mean you should ask yourself, does this person make me feel seen and valued? Do I feel drained or energized after spending time with them? Am I staying because of love or because of fear? The fear of letting go. Why we? Hold on, be honest. Have you ever stayed in a situation that was hurting you just because it was familiar? We do this all the time. We hold on to relationships that no longer nourish us. We stay in friendships that feel forced. We keep replaying painful memories, even though they bring us nothing but suffering. Why? Because letting go means stepping into the unknown, and the unknown is scary. It's unpredictable. It doesn't come with guarantees. But here's the truth. Holding on to what hurts is not safety. It's self-betrayal. Letting go is not loss. It's making space for something better. What happens when you finally let go? Something beautiful happens when you release what no longer serves you. You start attracting relationships that match your new energy. You stop forcing connections that were never meant to last. You realize that peace is better than the chaos you once normalized. Jung reminds us, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. So instead of clinging to the past, ask yourself what it's trying to teach you. Are you ready to let go? Take a deep breath and reflect. What am I still holding on to that is keeping me stuck? Who or what is draining my energy? What would happen if I finally let go? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from you. And if this message is resonating, hit like, subscribe, and share it with a woman who needs to hear this today. These messages are meant to be your daily reminders, your morning mindset reset. Listen to them while you get ready, on your walk, or anytime you need to realign with your power. Facing the shadow. Owning your power. By owning yourself, all right, now we've reached one of the hardest yet most powerful parts of this journey. Facing your shadow. We've already talked about letting go of what no longer serves you, but there's one thing you can't walk away from: yourself. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Read that again, slowly. How many times have you thought, why do I keep attracting the same kind of toxic relationships? Why do I sabotage my own happiness? Why do I feel like I don't deserve better? That, my dear, is your shadow at work. What is the shadow? Your shadow is the part of you that you've been taught to hide. It's your fears, your insecurities, your desires, your anger, all the things you suppress because the world told you they weren't acceptable. For women, this shadow is often made up of the people pleaser who sacrifices her own needs, the rage she's been told to suppress because good girls don't get angry, the desire she was taught to be ashamed of, the ambition she was told was too much. But here's the thing, burying your shadow doesn't make it disappear. It makes it stronger. Everything you reject about yourself doesn't go away. It simply shows up in different ways, in toxic relationships, in repeating painful cycles, in self-sabotage, until you face it. You are not just light, you are both light and shadow. Jung believed that true healing and self-acceptance don't come from pretending to be only good. They come from integrating all of who you are, the parts you love and the parts you struggle with. Example, think of a woman who's always nice, always agreeable, always self-sacrificing. Everyone loves her. But deep down, she's exhausted. She's suppressing her needs, her voice, her power. One day, she explodes. She doesn't even recognize herself. That's her shadow, the part of her that's been screaming to be acknowledged. How to integrate your shadow and take back your power. You can't heal what you refuse to look at. So instead of running from your shadow, learn to work with it. Step 1. Identify your shadow patterns. Ask yourself, what emotions do I suppress the most? Anger, jealousy, sadness. What triggers me in other people? That's usually a mirror of your own unhealed parts. Where do I sabotage myself? Step 2. Accept, don't judge. Instead of thinking, I shouldn't feel this way, ask, why do I feel this way? Your shadow isn't bad, it's just unacknowledged. Step 3. Express what you've suppressed. If you've never allowed yourself to be angry, find a healthy way to express it. If you've been afraid to say no, practice setting boundaries. If you've hidden your true desires, start owning them. Jung said, wholeness is not achieved by cutting off a portion of one's being, but by integration. That means you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be whole. Final reflection. Are you ready to meet your full self? Ask yourself, what parts of myself have I been running from? Where do I see my shadow playing out in my life? Am I ready to face and embrace my whole self? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this is hitting home, hit like, subscribe, and share this with a woman who needs to hear it. Remember, these messages are meant to be a part of your daily practice. Listen to them as a morning reset, on your walk, or whenever you need to come back to yourself.